and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Chloe, and today I'm joined by two of our wonderful social media managers, Laura and Tyler.
Hello.
Hello.
Coming up on this week's episode, we'll be chatting about the long-awaited return of Love Island, how to keep up with Instagram Reels, and we'll also be teaching you how to sell your products on social media. Make sure you stick around to the end of the show because in a new segment, we're going to be answering some of your burning DMs. Hi girls, how are you both?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. How's your week been so far?
Bit of a slow start to the week, but all good. Yeah.
Well, my week has been completely consumed by Love Island. I have found myself staying up way past my bedtime just to watch a bunch of singles flirt on a random remote destination like I do every single year. Are you guys as hooked on the show as I am?
Yes. Although, I will say, I found this year to be a little bit of a slow burner. So I'm waiting for it to pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like, Love Island is more like nostalgic. Like, it just reminds me, I know that summer's here. I mean, I don't know if the British weather is aware that summer's here, but anyway, it reminds me that summer's here in past years.
Yeah, I saw a meme and it said, Love Island's back. England might be about to bring it home. All we need is a heat wave and we're back in 2018 again.
Yes. Yeah, exactly that.
Do you guys have like a favourite islander or a favourite couple yet, or is it still kind of too early?
They're only just sort of growing on me. I do really like Hugo. I really hope Hugo and Chloe like find someone. I don't think they're necessarily the perfect match, but I hope that they find someone and go really far.
That's so true. I typically, every other year, like the nice guy, I'm kind of rooting for him to stay, but I feel like because this year it's been a bit slow, I'm like, right, we need to bin Hugo and then we need to get some actual like contenders in here. No friendship couples, like everyone's just friends at the moment. I'm not about that.
Yeah, we need the drama. Where is it?
Well, do you guys, obviously, all the Islanders, like, experience, like, an exponential growth on their social media accounts within the first week of, like, joining the island? Are you following anyone yet, or are you still kind of hanging back?
Yeah, I don't tend to follow them until they're out and if I really like them. Like, I only follow literally a couple of past Islanders. So I'm never one to, like, jump on the bandwagon and follow them because, nah.
I'm probably the same, Laura. I would agree.
Yeah, I always find every year with Love Island, I follow like my favorite contestants after the show has ended, but then like give it 2 weeks and I've unfollowed them. I'm like, nah, the hype's gone.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see who has it in the bag this year. I feel like it's still usually after the first week you kind of know maybe who's gonna win, but this year still like it's anyone's game.
Really
but I think Love Island is like one of the biggest 8 weeks in the social media calendar for the UK at least. So for all the social media managers out here, make sure you expect plenty of memes to come in the next couple of weeks. There's already been a few good ones I've seen on TikTok, so that's always my favorite part of the year is when we get the Love Island memes. Well, moving on to our main segment of this week's episode, we're going to be discussing all things social commerce and how to sell your products on social media. Shout out to our amazing content assistant Amber for writing up a super informative blog about this. So if you want to learn about anything that we discussed today, make sure you visit the Giraffe blog on our website to find out more. But moving right into things, I'm sure you guys and the listeners know the way we shop online is constantly evolving. I think brands these days can sell their products directly through their social media channels with very minimal website redirects, which is fantastic for them, dangerous for us. But the number of social commerce buyers in the US pretty much doubled between 2017 and 2020 with more than 80 million users last year alone, which is wild. So I thought it might be a good idea for us to talk the listeners through a few of our favorite platforms to sell products on. The big four social commerce platforms right now, arguably, are probably Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and maybe Twitter. But I feel like, TikTok is coming up on the heels of those big four. So let's talk about Instagram first, because their decision to make the shop tab like the main feature on most users' homepages was a pretty ballsy move, but I feel like it's paid off quite well for them, because 60% of users have said they find new products on the app. So Instagram Shop gives users and brands so many opportunities to sell their products to their audience. And the main features include a product catalog on your profile, the ability to tag products in your stories, in your feed posts, and in ads. You'll also appear in the shop tab, which is like the explore page for, shoppers and browsers like me. And you can also sell your products through live, which is very cool and something I haven't personally seen, but you can do. So, Laura, what do you think are the secrets to thriving on Instagram Shop?
Yeah, I think there's a few really good secrets to thriving on Instagram shopping. I think one of the most important things is including a really clear call to action. So making sure that your target audience or users in general know exactly what action they should take from the shopping content. I also think it's super, super important. We all know how important it is to keep communication really clear and really consistent. And I think consistency is sort of rule number one for brand awareness and allowing consumers to be able to easily identify you and your brand. And I think lastly, it's just keeping it your own. So keeping it fun, keeping it engaging, and just experiment. I think that's really key in any sort of form of online shopping, is experimenting with different ways to advertise your products and use data and insights sort of inform your strategy going forward. What's working, what's not. Keep going with what's working, ditch what's not working. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think having the shopping feature available on your ads as well is so key, because I don't know about you guys, but I have found like so many brands, or like I have bought so many products just from like people I don't even follow. I've just seen them show up on my feed like through a sponsored post. So it is like dangerous, but good for the brands, right?
Definitely. And I think like it's one thing that social media shopping does is sort of, and anything that platforms can do to make shopping easier is the best way forward, because ultimately, like, by allowing you to tag your products, like, people don't even really need to do anything in order to purchase. They just tap and the product's there in front of them ready to purchase. Like, it sort of limits the touch points, which is amazing. I mean, anything I can do to make my life easier, I'm doing it. Like, so Instagram shopping does it for me.
Definitely. I mean, we were talking about like there's barely any like website redirects. Like usually the main thing that kind of stops me from purchasing something or stops me from making it to the purchase confirmation page is all the redirects and all the different websites I have to go to, especially if I'm shopping like through an app. So it's pretty major. Have you guys personally bought anything through Instagram? I'm currently looking for a new armchair for my living room, and Instagram has been giving me a good helping hand in that.
I've definitely bought things on social, predominantly makeup related products. Charlotte Tilbury, to be precise. She was right in there on my Instagram. But yeah, and clothes as well, I think.
Definitely clothes. 100%.
Yeah,
I've fallen into that wormhole.
Yeah, and
especially with all the influencers, right? Like,
Oh,
you go from the influencers page to the brand page, you know, to the basket. It's that easy.
So
yeah,
simple.
definitely. And most recently, like, my feed has been full of like cat food and cat food brands, cat accessories though. So they always take my fancy. One thing that really draws, and I think this, this is obviously, I would say the same for all users, that draws me in particular is like offers or discounts,
Oh,
particularly for brands that for brands I don't know and for brands I know, like Charlotte Tilbury, there's always some kind of offer on. So that's what hooks me, because I'm like, oh, even if I don't buy, I'm going to click through. I want to maybe learn more about the products, or, so it instantly sort of got my attention.
I think that's like a beautiful formula. Like, if you're like tagging your products in your ads, offering like a special discount, like that is the best way to find new customers and new consumers, because like if you see something that maybe you've had in the back of your mind, or you've looked at other shops and this one has a special, like you're pretty much guaranteed to buy it, right? Especially on Instagram, where you've kind of lost your willpower as is.
Yeah.
Definitely. Right. Well, Instagram and Facebook are basically 2 for 1 at this point, and that's no exception when it comes to shops. So, Tyler, why don't you talk us through how to sell products on Facebook?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, I mean, as you mentioned, Chloe, they're pretty much, same, hand in hand, one in the same. But interestingly enough, something that Shopify actually released recently was that Facebook still holds 2/3 of all social media visits to any Shopify stores, which is quite interesting considering, Instagram has launched Instagram shopping from their perspective as well. But I think for Facebook as a platform, like, it is just still the big fish in the pond when it comes to advertising your products and marketing your products. And yeah, it just works well. I mean, the platform itself, you can easily integrate your ads into it. You can, be scrolling through your Facebook timeline and it pops up, there's something sponsored that you've been viewing. So yeah, 100% definitely with Facebook, for instance, when it comes to kind of advertising and shopping and making it so simple for you to redirect your users to your website, and integrating the features as Instagram has done themselves. In 2020, actually, Facebook did launch a Facebook shop, where, it links directly to your Instagram shop, funnily enough, which makes it also hand in hand easy for you to be shopping directly from the brand and directly from the page. And, it gets rid of that kind of journey that as a customer you have to go through, which can be tedious at times. So yeah, with the Facebook shop, obviously it allows brands to set up one integrated shop with your Instagram page and your Facebook page, which also allows you to stretch your advertising and your marketing across both platforms, which I think can be really, really useful and really helpful when it comes to reaching a larger audience, and B, just making sure that your customers are shopping for your stuff on both platforms.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, I'm always so surprised when I hear that Facebook is still like the #1 platform, or like they, as you said, like they get the most users to Shopify, because I think for our generation and people younger than us especially, Facebook is kind of almost not a dead platform, but we're definitely more on that Instagram, TikTok kind of side. But you're so right, the data's there, and I think one thing that makes Facebook stand out is that you can offer support to your customers through Facebook-owned apps. So that's Messenger, that's WhatsApp, that's Facebook itself, Instagram DMs. Like, there's so many ways that you can reach your customer and offer support. So I think, for new brands and businesses, that is so key, and Facebook is definitely the place where you kind of want to start that journey. Facebook also offers in-app checkout. So like we said, buyers don't have to jump from site to site in order to make a purchase, which I think is definitely going to help you increase those number of sales. The less effort, as Laura was saying, like the less effort involved, the more likely people like us are to purchase. So that is really, really awesome. But you can also, like, as a customer, you can track your orders through these channels as well. So if I made a purchase, on Facebook, I can track it through there, or I can track it through WhatsApp, which is another key. Like, I hate when I get like I don't know, track my order through like Misguided or Pretty Little Thing, and I have to go to the email. Then I have to like click on the link. Then it takes me to like DHL, and then I have to enter the tracking number. So it's definitely eliminating a lot of those like really frustrating steps that a lot of buyers come across in their journey. Do you do a lot of shopping on Facebook? I dabble in Marketplace when it comes to like homewares, but I don't think I've actually ever bought from a Facebook shop before. What about you guys?
I'm the exact same. Facebook Marketplace I've dabbled in. When I've needed something in particular, I knew I could get from there. But yeah, Facebook shop? No.
I think it's hard to kind of recall, because I guess a lot, and I said this for Instagram, and I guess it applies really well to Facebook, a lot of it is through that like subliminal advertising. Like I've never bought from a Facebook shop, but I've definitely bought from a Facebook ad, like without a doubt. So I think it's definitely hammering it in that, you know, integrating shops with ads is like super important as a brand, because even if a user doesn't know of your company like by name, they won't be going to your shop and purchasing directly from your store, but they see you in an ad, you've doubled your chances almost. So definitely something to keep in mind. But I think when it does come to shopping on social media, perhaps a lot of us think of Facebook and Instagram as the first platforms that come to mind. But Laura, Pinterest, I've always thought, is quite the underdog in all, you know, aspects in terms of being a social media platform and as a shopping platform. So why don't you talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think Pinterest is the perfect opportunity to advertise. I think, like you say, it's a bit of an underdog. I'm not sure as many advertisers are on Pinterest as there should be, but I think that there's so many consumers on there ready to make a purchase. And I think, in fact, 93% of active Pinterest users have said that they use the platform to plan for their purchases. So I think that statistic in itself is a bit of an eye-opener for brands too. You know, if you think relevant, go to the platform. I think the platform's product pins allow you to reach wider audiences and get your brand in front of a variety of Pinterest users who are ultimately in the market for your product. And I don't know if there's a sense with Pinterest, or maybe perhaps a stereotype, or maybe this is what Pinterest was entirely before. I'm not sure, or a combination of all sort of three elements. But I think there's a thought that Pinterest can only be used for shopping for certain industries. So, for example, like furniture or homeware. And I think that's a misconception, and something that actually Pinterest has been evolving in over the last few years, in that there's so many different industries that work with Pinterest, and there's so many different advertisers on there, and there's so many different brands. And I think ultimately there are millions of consumers that you can reach with your products on Pinterest that you could be missing out on.
Definitely. I mean, we did a recent interview with Rachel Waring, who is a Pinterest expert, and she talked all about, you know, you can come from any industry and sell on Pinterest. So if you're kind of stuck in that boat where you're not sure how you can like translate your products or service into Pinterest, definitely give that episode a listen. Tyler, are there different ways to create product pins on Pinterest, or is it just the one?
Yeah, so there's actually two main sources of product pins when it comes to Pinterest. So you've got catalog pins and then you've got rich pins. So catalog pins are basically, they allow you to directly upload a product's data source, which can be added to like specific groups or promoted as like shopping ads. And those are super, super helpful. For instance, if you're, you know, directly uploading a product from your website and you want to show it and showcase it and allow someone to click through on that advert and direct them back to your website. But obviously on the other hand, you've got rich pins, which are kind of a little bit different to catalog pins, but they're basically shoppable pins that are saved on Pinterest directly from your page on your website, which also allows you to click directly on that pin and then make it simple, easy for anyone to purchase directly, from your brand, which is amazing. And the fact that I think Pinterest as well, like Laura mentioned, is kind of up and coming and like, you know, getting within the e-commerce space and like allowing people to just shop directly and make it so simple for you. I mean, I know from my perspective, I've only ever used Pinterest as kind of like an inspiration board for, you know, things that I'm doing or things that I'm like planning. But I think the fact that it does now give me the ability and the option to purchase from it, I definitely would be using it as a consumer. And I think it's going to be a powerful platform in the future. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like a lot of like brands or social media managers forget that Pinterest is basically a search engine, right? You don't go, like, maybe you go on Pinterest and you just have a scroll through, but most people are going to Pinterest to search something, whether that be like inspo or they're trying to find like a certain pair of jeans, like how to style an outfit, like that kind of stuff. They're going to Pinterest for it. So it almost seems like so crazy that people kind of underestimate the value of using Pinterest as a shopping platform, because that is literally, you know, you go on Instagram, you're scrolling aimlessly, and maybe the same for Facebook, but Pinterest, kind of your main objective is to find something you're looking for. So definitely something to keep in mind. There's no denying social commerce brings big value to brands by making the buyer's journey even easier and more accessible than ever before. So if you want to learn more about selling your products through social media, make sure you check out our blog, and yeah, we'll leave the link in our show notes if you want to check it out. In our latest and greatest segment, we're going to be answering some of your burning DMs sent to us on social media. Our first DM ever is all about creating Instagram Reels, and it reads, I recently posted my very first reel on Instagram and it gained over 7,000 views. I only have 400 followers on my account, so should I be focusing more on posting video content? And I think this is such an awesome question and actually very topical. So thank you to the user for sending this in. Tyler, why don't you get us started on what you think about Instagram Reels?
I think, yeah, firstly, 100% agree with posting video content. I think we've spoken about this in multiple episodes before, where the power of video content and the things that it allows you to do and the audience that it allows you to reach is just, it's insane. Like, it's got so much power behind it. And I think with the introduction of Reels, I know a lot of people were unsure of it because obviously TikTok had come about and they, you know, were not sure about Instagram Reels and how they would fare against TikTok. And, you know, there was that little bit of rivalry that we had going on. But I back it. I agree with it. I think it's such a great way to, you know, reach new people. Also just to have fun on the platform, you know, kind of Instagram traditionally has always just been like static imagery and like, you know, you post a photo on your feed and, you know, it's kind of always been very simple. And then when stories came about, people were like, oh, like I can do something else here. And now obviously with the development of Reels, like I definitely think that it's just got the potential from a personal perspective and from even like a business perspective, like as a brand, to allow you to kind of produce new content and just, yeah, have fun with it. I think definitely I back it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, came out this week and posted kind of, funnily enough, an IGTV talking about the upcoming changes to the app. And basically he said that video content is going to be Instagram's main priority going forward. I think this is obviously an effort to keep up with TikTok and YouTube. So I think where you can, absolutely like focus on video content and repurpose some of your old content into video content where you can. And you think you're so right, Tyler. Like, I think a lot of us think of it as maybe a bit of a chore, but it's actually a great opportunity to get creative and like to try new things. What do you think, Laura?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's no doubt that Instagram Reels use a highly addictive formula to attract new and engaged users. I think, you know, TikTok has proven, I think, the power of short form video content, and Instagram has obviously taken that on and integrated it into its platform as well. And I think, like you were saying, that sort of short form video content allows you to encapsulate, you know, information in a more engaging and creative way than you could in an image and a piece of copy. And I think there's so much more you can do with it, and there's so much more information you can get across in an Instagram reel. I also think it helps that they're, again, like up and coming. they're not something that's been around for years and years, that perhaps they're sort of slipping through the net a bit now. They are up and coming, and they are something that's been newly integrated. So therefore I think taking advantage of that is really important for not only like your average user, but also for brands as well.
Definitely. I think like you just gain so much engagement from them. Like I think this user especially, they have 400 followers and their first TikTok gained over 7,000 views. I mean, if you're a brand, that's amazing exposure. And I think it's great because when you're scrolling through your newsfeed or scrolling through like the Reels tab on Instagram, that video takes up your entire screen. So, you know, whether it be for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you've got that user's like entire screen. So it's definitely something that you should make the most of, and, you know, try new things. Like there's so many things that you can do with Reels. You can talk to the camera, you can do like product shots, it can genuinely be like a video that you've taken from your website and popped into, you know, the correct format, and you've got that. Like you can jump on like meme trends, and it's just the possibilities are endless. So
I think it also, again, sort of going back to doing everything you can to make your audience's life easier and require them to do less, because ultimately a video format, you're taking away like an audience's sort of thought process of like figuring out, what is this post telling me? What do I need to do from it? Figuring that out. You're taking that away instantly. And in a video, it's playing for you straight away as soon as you scroll through your feed. It's playing instantly, no thought process required. It's just straight up there.
That's such a good point, yeah. So that was our top DM for this week. If you want to be featured on next week's episode, then make sure you slide into our DMs on Instagram. We are at GiraffeSM. Send in your questions and we will answer them every week. Great, well, now it's time to dive in to the top social media news story of the week. And girls, to keep in theme with Instagram Reels, the social media platform has just announced that Instagram Reel ads are now available worldwide. Yay! That's right, Instagram is now giving everyone the opportunity to boost your Reel reach and engagement even further with ads. In a statement released by Instagram, they said, Reels are the best place on Instagram to reach people who don't follow you and are a growing global stage where brands and creators can be discovered by anyone. These ads will help businesses reach greater audiences, allowing people to discover inspiring new content from brands and creators. What are our first thoughts?
Yeah, I think once again, that's Instagram, like keeping on top of trends. They are using data and insight to develop their strategy going forward, which, you know, is obviously the best way to go. I'm excited to see how Instagram Reel ads play out and even start sort of creating them for my clients as well. I think there's so many different things you can do with Instagram Reel ads as a brand, from educating your audience in that video format, showcasing your brand values and personality, which I think you can do a lot more in an Instagram Reel ad than maybe a normal video ad. But I do think it's important to sort of remember even so that you shouldn't really hard sell using Instagram Reel ads. I think sort of the top 2 points that I made about educating audiences and showcasing your brand values and personality should sort of be a number one priority when using Instagram Reel ads. But yeah, I think, again, it's a really great opportunity for brands to become more creative, create sort of more behind the scenes content, maybe like be a bit more real, really connect with their audiences and tell a story as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think for any social media manager out there that has tried to navigate the TikTok ads manager, it is mayhem out there. So I'm happy to see that, you know, we can kind of promote the same type of content but on like a an ads manager that we're already kind of, you know, acquainted with, and that's easy to use. What do you think, Tyler?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I definitely think that, like Laura said, it's a great opportunity for brands to build up their audience. You know, I mean, the fact that you can reach so many more people with your Reel ads, and like Chloe said as well, it's going to be integrated into your entire screen, and you've got that, you know, like 10 to 15 seconds to capture their attention, and you can do something fun, you can do something different, you can play around with it. Like, I think it's definitely a great move on Instagram's part. And I'll be interested to kind of see the success of it, and also just to see what brands do, like what they come out with. I think it will just be so amazing to see kind of the creative freedom that they've got. So I think it's a good move, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think is, you know, going to be the best way for brands to use this feature? Do you think, I know a lot of brands on TikTok are kind of repurposing their influencer or user content that they've created within the app, and then kind of, you know, promoted that so it kind of blends in. It's a bit of guerrilla marketing, if you will, because people can't tell straight away that it's an ad advertising to you. Do you think that's kind of the route to go, or should we be creating our own ads that also blend in?
I think following that approach, it's obviously working really well on TikTok, and given how similar Instagram Reels are, I can't see that not working on Instagram. But I think sort of, again, like I was saying, I think behind the scenes content can be really good for brands to utilize. I think that's a really great way for brands to connect with their audiences. I think, you know, just being real as well, like using real faces. We all know, like, people buy from people. So again, adding personality to your brand, putting a face on the brand. I also think any sort of before and afters will work quite well with Instagram Reels.
I'm a sucker for a before and after.
Yeah. I think, you know, for particularly obviously for product-based things, I think those before and afters. Obviously, it's important to read the Facebook policies around sort of before and after content. But I think that would work for Instagram Reels really well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's like the main thing to remember is, like, I guess you kind of want to start with content that's really going to help with your brand awareness. I think, you know, as we've seen, like, any one reel can go viral at any given time. You know, the Instagram algorithm is a mystery. So if you start with that awareness content, you know, kind of getting to know the brand, you got to think about the marketing funnel. And, you know, people that are seeing this probably have never heard of your brand before. So it's a great opportunity to, introduce yourself, like Laura said, show some behind the scenes content. And then as that audience grows, or as that awareness grows, you can kind of move further down the marketing funnel and start talking about products and doing those before and afters, and, you know, maybe doing a cheeky hard sell every now and then. Whatever works. It's all about experimentation, as we've said. What kind of reels then, Tyler, if you were a brand, or for some clients, what type of reel content would you be creating for ads, do you think?
I don't know, like I think both of you guys have said, like, behind the scenes stuff, even like maybe even like blooper reels. Like, I know from my perspective as well, like when you're filming like some video content or even like a TikTok, like there are times when you just go over and over and over again. And I think that adds to kind of Laura's point, where, you know, showing bloopers and showing behind the scenes and like making your brand more relatable. It makes it fun and creative, but it also allows people to kind of see, you know, the process. And like you said, people buy from people, and you trust brands who have that personality and have got that persona behind them. I'd probably also, you know, maybe focus on like product tutorials as well, because, you know, that's always helpful when it comes to developing your brand voice and kind of showing people what you've got on offer. Like doing a tutorial, I know from my perspective, I love a tutorial and stuff. I could watch them for hours, like hours of product tutorials. What I think would also be quite interesting is to see kind of if, you know, like competition posts and like contents, like how people would develop that on Reels, and see, you know, with the use of video content, how you can do it and how you can present it. And I think that would be quite a fun way to kind of see what you can do. Just, you know, having that creative freedom and having the ability to run a competition or a contest on your reel. It just could be, an interesting time, I think. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I agree, and I personally can't wait to see, you know, all the amazing ideas that we come up with here at Giraffe, and you know what all the other brands are doing on Instagram Reel ads. So stay tuned, and yeah, let us know. That's all we've got time for today though, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. And for the listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or follow us if you're listening on Spotify. We would love to hear what you thought about today's episode, you know, selling on platforms and Instagram Reels. What do you think? If you've got a favorite on Love Island, let us know. We are always open to a bit of Love Island chat here at Giraffe. So yeah, make sure you reach out on social media and let us know what you thought. We've been Giraffe Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.